So you were asking me about the title of the work. Well, the title of the work is Horizontal Desires, and it actually came about from me reading an article about tango dancing, and it's about the vertical expression of horizontal desires. And so when it comes to tango, like it actually originated, or one of the ideas of where it originated was with the low-class Argentinian who basically created this dance in order to express certain sorrows. And so my body of work is about consumer society and how it affects the sense of self. And so, we are a society that consumes a lot because there are certain sorrows that we need to fulfill or fill within us. And you wanted to know about what people feel when they come in. The first they maybe think about the sexual component of the work. Well, to me, the work is not necessarily, erotically based in that sense, but what is important is that there's definitely a sexual aspect to the work that is important in terms of, I want people to feel definitely, certain feelings. So the sexual component is there, such as fear as well and things like that. They go straight to the limbic system, and so the viewer doesn't have a chance to really think about it. It just affects them on an emotional level, and so that is really important to me. And so there were people, kind of seeing the work as being, these figurative components on a stripper pole, but again, that is just part of the game that I'm playing with the viewer to kind of make them think about what is going on with the work. Now, the idea with the work is to talk about consumerism, but just how it affects us on a level inside, most of all. So you wanted to ask me a little bit more about the materials, or yeah.
How important for you is to choose the material when you're trying to do something?
Right. Well, the materials, these are vinyls, and these are actually made out of, the parts of it is like raincoat material, and it's polystyrene. It's actually partially because the work was shown in Toronto as an outdoor installation, and so I wanted to choose materials too that, are good for outdoors. So that was just from a practical standpoint. But also, when you think about raincoat material, it's about protection. So that's was really important to me too. The vinyl, again, it's partly, it kind of references maybe skin-like, has skin-like qualities in a sense. So that was important to me. Also, vinyl is a handmade material, and so it's, again, when we talk about the consumerism and how it affects the self, it's about how we construct the sense of self in a consumer society. And so these bodies here, they are they are becoming, but they're also disintegrating. So it's all part of the game of the media, that the media plays with us by means of exposing us to sexually manipulated objects and making us buy certain things to make us who we want to be, in a sense. Talking about the stitching, well, first of all, it's also handmade, which kind of stands in, or is very important to me because it's consumerism is usually, based on, just buying and having the initial satisfaction that comes right away by buying things. And so the stitching is kind of counteracting against that. It's very, almost, what is it called, OCD, which kind of references, the ideas of shopping too, and the addiction that we all experience in terms of consumerism. I also wanted to have parts that kind of reference the idea of things coming out of the body, kind of oozing out of the body. So it's meant to show pain, but also you can see that it's like a flower, material here, which is kind of between pain and pleasure, so kind of these ideas. The stitching also, it's about showing it's a wound that is healing, or at any point can kind of open up again, so that was important to me as well. So then colors, I have different colors, and the choices are, maybe we should look at this one here first. which is more about a military color. So it's about the structure that, from above. So thinking about consumerism, and the idea of freedom, we think we're free to choose who we want to be, but then we have the verticality from above, like meaning the media who, basically guides us and manipulates us with all these different things, manipulations like sexually and so forth. So in that sense, we are not really free to choose who we want to be. We are guided, may that be consciously or unconsciously. So anyways, I wanted the color that kind of portrays that power from above. I also wanted to have a color that suggests more the underground world, SM, more the sexual aspect, because again, it's what the media plays with and exposes us, and funny enough, it makes us actually buy things, because when you look at, advertisements, I mean, there's hardly any advertisements out there that, don't use the little, sexual, things here and there in order to get us going in a sense. And then I have like a color here that's more red, more intense, but also more fun. Kind of made me think of Circus du Soleil, because the whole consumerism, world is kind of like a big theater, and also I wanted it not to be taken too seriously. I always want my work to have a little bit of underlying humor. So it's very important for me with the work is that there is always like these opposites between the beautiful and the ugly, the seriousness and the ridiculousness of things, and then of course the sensual aspect and the more obscene aspects. And when you asked me at first, people come into the gallery and they do see the sexual aspect, or you ask me if it's erotic work. So these are just ways for me to lure the viewer into the actual work and the more conceptual aspect of the works. And so with that is really important to me, because again, they're more like props and not beautiful objects, but they're here to elicit certain responses within the viewer, and that's what I'm mostly interested in. And then the way it is set up, the space itself is very, empty in a sense. So again, when you think about consumerism, we buy and constantly buy things in order to fulfill a certain, or fill a certain emptiness within, and yet that is, is never really going to happen. And so that's what, the media and everybody plays on in terms of getting us to buy and buy some more.